Every morning, as the soft light of dawn spilled over his quiet farm, Nathan noticed his horse, River, standing knee-deep in the pond. At first, he assumed it was just River's way of cooling off, but as the days passed, worry gnawed at him. Why was River so drawn to the water every single day? Nathan finally called the local vet, fearing something was wrong. But when the vet arrived and peered into the pond, his face turned pale with shock. When the blistering summer heat still hung heavily in the air, Farmer Nathan didn't think twice about his horse, River, wading into the pond to cool off. It was only natural, given the stifling temperatures. But as the days grew colder and autumn gave way to the sharp chill of early winter, Nathan began to worry. River's peculiar habit didn't stop. It intensified. This morning, when Nathan found the horse standing in the pond after breaking through a thin layer of ice, he knew something wasn't right. Concerned, Nathan picked up the phone and called his regular veterinarian, describing the strange behavior. "Doc, my horse won't stay away from the pond even with ice on it," he said, his voice tinged with confusion. On the other end of the line, the vet listened intently. Though he had decades of experience with farm animals, this was a new one for him. Horses, he knew, could handle cold water or low temperatures, but actively seeking it out. That was unusual. The vet mused aloud. "It's odd. If this started back in the summer, maybe it's not about the temperature at all." But his packed schedule left him unable to visit Nathan's farm in the coming days. Not wanting to delay, Nathan reluctantly agreed to consult another veterinarian the regular vet recommended, someone with an even longer career and a solid reputation. When Nathan called and retold his story, the new vet didn't seem as taken aback. "I'll stop by tomorrow morning," he promised, his tone matter of fact. Though reassured someone was coming, Nathan couldn't shake the uneasy feeling he got during the conversation, but he brushed it aside. For now, the bigger issue was keeping River out of the pond overnight. As the sun began to dip behind the horizon, Nathan trudged back to the barn, determined to secure his determined horse. Simply locking the doors wouldn't do. River had broken out before when he set his mind to something. Nathan tethered him firmly to one of the sturdy beams, hoping the reinforced setup would hold. "I'm sorry, boy," he murmured, stroking River's neck, "but you're staying put tonight." Even after securing River, Nathan couldn't sit still. The mystery gnawed at him, and so armed with a flashlight, he headed back to the pond. The air was crisp, biting at his skin as he stood by the water's edge. The thin ice from earlier had melted slightly, leaving dark patches of water exposed. From his vantage point, nothing seemed unusual, just an ordinary pond like countless others on his property. But something about it was drawing River, and Nathan felt compelled to understand why. He debated stepping into the freezing water himself, or collecting a sample to have it tested. "What are you hiding, huh?" he muttered into the cold air, his breath clouding around him. The more he thought about it, the stranger the situation seemed. The next morning, over coffee with a neighbor, Nathan cautiously broached the subject. "You ever notice your horses acting funny around water?" he asked. The neighbor paused, frowning. "Now that you mention it, yeah. A couple of mine have been hanging around the creek lately, even with the frost coming in." They exchanged stories, realizing that other horses in the area had been drawn to water in similarly inexplicable ways. "You think it's something in the water?" the neighbor asked, half joking. Nathan gave a strained chuckle, but his mind was already racing. Back at the barn, as the first light of dawn filtered through the cracks, Nathan checked on River, still safely tied but restless. The new vet would be arriving soon, but Nathan couldn't shake the sense that this mystery ran deeper than one horse's strange habits. As the neighborhood gathered, a shared sense of unease rippled through the group. One by one, the neighbors recounted stories eerily similar to Nathan's experience. Though the horses came from different farms, they all displayed an inexplicable fixation on their respective ponds, as if drawn by an unseen force. Theories flew between them, but no one could pinpoint a definitive cause. Nathan, however, couldn't shake the growing suspicion that something unnatural was at play. He resisted the impulse to wade into the pond himself, wary of the secrets it might hold. That night, sleep evaded Nathan. He lay in bed, his thoughts circling the day's unsettling events. Outside, the sound of River's relentless struggle to break free from his stall and return to the pond was a haunting reminder of the mystery that loomed over them. "What is it about that water?" Nathan whispered to himself in the dark, frustration and worry coiling in his chest. Hour after hour passed, and River's desperate attempts continued, breaking the stillness of the night. When dawn finally came, Nathan, bleary-eyed from a sleepless night, stepped out to find River exhausted, but still agitated. The horse's restless pacing and unyielding gaze towards the pond mirrored the turmoil within Nathan. Relief came in the form of the vet's arrival, a glimmer of hope that some answers might be within reach. The vet surveyed the scene with a mix of curiosity and concern. Approaching River proved difficult. The horse's jittery, agitated state made him nearly impossible to examine. "I've never seen anything like this," the vet admitted, pulling back cautiously. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, Nathan accompanied the vet to nearby farms, where they found horses exhibiting the same peculiar behavior. Each animal was inexplicably drawn to its pond with an intensity that defied explanation. Despite thorough examinations, the vet found no physical ailments or apparent abnormalities. The only commonality was the horse's strange obsession with the water. Back at the farm, Nathan insisted on having the pond water tested. Though skeptical, the vet agreed to take a sample for analysis. As the vet packed up, he offered a reassuring, "I'll let you know as soon as I get the results." Nathan nodded, though his gaze remained fixed on the pond, its still surface reflecting his unease. The crisp morning air carried the scent of damp earth, amplifying the sense of mystery as he stared into the water, searching for answers. The weather began to clear that afternoon, and Nathan decided to let River out of the barn, hoping the fresh air might calm him. But the moment River was released, the horse bolted straight for the pond. Nathan watched, frozen between fear and fascination, as River plunged into the water. At first, the horse moved frantically, thrashing as if possessed by an unseen force. Then, slowly, his movements softened. River settled into a strange, almost tranquil state, standing chest-deep in the pond, with an air of serenity that was as unsettling as it was unexpected. Nathan's stomach churned with unease. What was it about the water that could transform his horse's agitation into this eerie calm? The same pattern played out on neighboring farms. Other horses, when released, mirrored River's behavior, initial panic giving way to an inexplicable peace. The vet returned the following morning, his expression grim. He had no immediate answers, only more questions. River, still weary and irritable, refused to cooperate during the vet's examination, complicating efforts to glean any new insights. Frustration boiled within Nathan as he watched the vet struggle to make progress. "What are we missing here?" Nathan muttered, his voice tight with exhaustion. The vet shook his head, equally baffled. Left with no solutions, Nathan's determination hardened. He couldn't shake the feeling that the pond held the key to this mystery. But the idea of confronting whatever force lay beneath its surface filled him with equal parts dread and resolve. He would have to decide soon. Curiosity and concern would allow no further delay. The veterinarian's extensive examinations yielded no abnormalities. Every test confirmed that the horses, including Nathan's beloved River, were in excellent health. Yet, their strange fixation on the water remained an unsolved enigma. Determined to uncover the truth, Nathan expanded his efforts, speaking to neighbors and exploring every possible lead. Each visit, however, only deepened the mystery. Conversations with other farmers echoed a shared confusion. It was always about the water, ponds that seemed to exert an irresistible pull on the horses. The veterinarian, though seasoned and knowledgeable, was just as baffled. He confessed that he had never encountered such a phenomenon before. "It's unlike anything I've seen," he admitted, his frustration mirroring Nathan's. Together, they puzzled over the bizarre behavior, their concern growing as the pattern emerged on every farm they visited. The horses, like River, were undeniably healthy. Their coats gleamed, their eyes were clear, and their energy remained vibrant. Yet the compulsion to linger by the ponds was unnervingly consistent. It was as though an invisible force was drawing the animals toward the water. Farmers across the area shared notes, but no one had answers. Theories circulated, ranging from mineral imbalances to supernatural whispers, but hard evidence was nowhere to be found. The vet meticulously examined each horse he encountered, searching for any physical signs that might provide a clue. Still, nothing surfaced. The horses were as robust as ever, aside from this strange, inexplicable attraction to the water. Frustration mounted among the farmers, their worry mingling with curiosity as the mystery deepened. Nathan, driven by equal parts fear and determination, pressed for a deeper investigation. "We need to test the water," he urged the vet. "There's got to be something in it, something we're missing." Though initially skeptical, the vet eventually agreed. Samples from the ponds were collected and sent to a laboratory for analysis in hopes that science might unravel the riddle. The wait for the test results was agonizing. Nathan, unable to sit still, spent his days by the pond, observing River. The horse's behavior was both troubling and fascinating. River seemed inexplicably calm near the water, his usual restlessness replaced by a strange contentment. Nathan studied every movement, every nuance, desperate for a clue. The water's hold on River left Nathan both captivated and unnerved, and his mind raced with possibilities as he awaited the vet's call. Days passed, and River's obsession with the pond only intensified. Though free to roam, the horse seemed happiest when he was near the water, often wading in as though it brought him some unspoken relief. Nathan couldn't ignore the change. It was unlike anything he'd seen before, a behavior so out of character it bordered on unsettling. News from the neighbors only added to his unease. Their horses were displaying similar tendencies, their once predictable routines now disrupted by an unexplained fixation on the ponds. What began as an isolated concern at Nathan's farm had grown into a widespread phenomenon. The entire community shared his urgency for answers, their collective worry palpable as they waited for the lab results. Despite his mounting apprehension, Nathan found himself torn. He watched River with a mix of wonder and dread. Something about the water seemed to soothe the horse, as though it held a secret only the animals could understand. Reluctantly, Nathan decided to let River follow his instincts. "If the water's what you need," he murmured to his horse, "I won't stop you." But as Nathan observed River standing serenely in the pond, a thought lingered at the edge of his mind. What was it about this water that held such power? And what would the answer reveal? Not just about the horses, but about the land itself. Once River was released, he trotted straight to the pond, diving into the water with an urgency that felt almost desperate, yet oddly relieving. Nathan stood at the edge, his brow furrowed with a mix of concern and curiosity as he watched the scene unfold. In the water, River's frantic splashes gradually eased into a tranquil stillness, as if the very essence of the pond had calmed the restless energy within him. Nathan's intrigue deepened. What was it about this water that transformed his horse so profoundly? This wasn't an isolated incident. Nathan had heard his neighbors describe similar behavior with their own horses. An anxious plunge into the pond, followed by an almost mystical calm. The shared experiences raised more questions than answers, leaving a tantalizing mystery in their wake. Nathan, driven by equal parts fascination and worry, decided it was time to take matters into his own hands. Perhaps the only way to understand this strange phenomenon was to experience it himself. With a resolute breath, Nathan stepped into the pond. The icy water sent a shock through his body, making him hesitate for a moment, but his resolve held firm. Almost immediately, a peculiar sensation broke through the cold, a myriad of tiny pinpricks against his skin. Alarmed, Nathan stumbled backward, only to realize he had uncovered something vital. Tiny fish darted to the surface around him, their quick movements catching his eye. Instinctively, he reached into the water and cupped one in his hand. The creature was minuscule and harmless looking, but its presence unlocked the puzzle that had baffled him for weeks. As Nathan delved deeper into the mystery, his research revealed that the fish were a species known for feeding on dead skin cells, likely an invasive addition to the pond. These fish, while benign, provided a unique sensation that the horses found irresistible. Nathan wasted no time sharing his discovery with his neighbors, bringing the community a wave of relief. The enigma of the horse's strange behavior had finally been solved. No longer a cause for fear, the ponds were now seen as a natural curiosity. The farmers, reassured that their horses were safe, found themselves marveling at the unexpected ecological dynamics in their midst. What had begun as a puzzling concern transformed into a story of coexistence with nature, sparking both wonder and respect for the delicate balance of their environment. For Nathan, this revelation marked a turning point. He reached out to local wildlife experts to learn more about the fish and their potential impact on the ecosystem. His curiosity turned his farm into a hub of knowledge, drawing neighbors together to discuss sustainable solutions. Community meetings became a regular occurrence, with farmers working collectively to monitor the fish populations and explore ways to manage the invasive species without disrupting the ecosystem. Nathan's journey didn't end with the discovery. His experience with the pond deepened his understanding of nature's complexity and the interconnectedness of life on his farm. He began to implement sustainable farming practices, becoming a leader in promoting environmental stewardship. His neighbors, inspired by his dedication, followed suit, transforming their community into a model of ecological mindfulness. The invasive fish, once a source of mystery, became a symbol of the unexpected ways nature could teach and challenge them. For Nathan and his neighbors, the ponds were no longer just water sources. They were living ecosystems filled with stories waiting to be discovered. Through this shared experience, the community learned an invaluable lesson: the importance of embracing and working with nature's surprises instead of fearing them. They learned to embrace life's unpredictability and discovered a newfound sense of balance within the natural world. Nathan's farm, once a source of worry, had transformed into a living example of the beauty and intricacy hidden within nature's surprises. Driven by his growing curiosity, Nathan felt compelled to dive deeper, both literally and figuratively, into the ecosystem of the pond. This time, as he stepped into the water, it wasn't with trepidation, but with a sense of wonder and purpose. Tiny fish darted around him, their delicate nibbles both strange and illuminating. As he stood immersed, Nathan finally understood the horse's fascination. The gentle nibbling, once startling, now felt calming, almost meditative. It was as though nature had provided a spa of its own design, a subtle yet powerful interaction between species that exemplified harmony and mutual benefit. Eager to share his revelation, Nathan recounted his experience to his neighbors, describing the soothing sensation and the natural advantages it offered. His vivid storytelling sparked intrigue, shifting their perception of the ponds from potential hazards to hidden treasures that connected humans and animals in unexpected ways. Nathan's newfound appreciation turned into action. Inspired by his journey, he became an advocate for preserving natural ecosystems, organizing community events to spread awareness. He educated others on the challenges posed by invasive species and the critical importance of maintaining ecological balance. Nathan's farm soon became a beacon of environmental stewardship, a gathering place for those seeking to coexist peacefully with the natural world. The once troublesome ponds and their bond with the horses came to symbolize the extraordinary ways nature can surprise and benefit those who take the time to understand it. One crisp afternoon, standing knee-deep in the pond, with the fish swarming around him, Nathan had a moment of clarity. His initial fears and doubts melted into awe and respect. These tiny fish, though invasive, had carved out a niche that offered an unexpected benefit to the horses. Curious, Nathan gently caught one in his hand, marveling at its delicate form. Later, research confirmed what his observations hinted at. These fish were known for feeding off dead skin cells, a harmless and even beneficial behavior. The discovery explained the horses' unusual behavior. For them, the sensation was akin to a natural massage. Determined to share this breakthrough, Nathan called a community meeting. "It's not just a pond," he told them with quiet excitement. "It's a living system, offering something remarkable." His explanation sparked fascination and relief among his neighbors, transforming skepticism into curiosity. However, the realization also raised important questions about how to responsibly manage this invasive species. Together, the community agreed to consult environmental experts, ensuring that this delicate balance could be preserved without disrupting the ecosystem. The tiny fish became a symbol of nature's complexity and the community's growing understanding of its interconnectedness. Nathan worked tirelessly to spread awareness, organizing educational workshops on invasive species and sustainable practices. These events not only informed the farmers, but also strengthened their bond with the land they depended on. Nathan's farm evolved into a hub for environmental learning, where neighbors gathered to explore new ways to live in harmony with their surroundings. Over time, the community's perspective shifted. They began noticing and appreciating the intricate details of their environment, even in creatures they once overlooked. Nathan's journey had given him a deeper sense of purpose, reshaping his role as a farmer into that of a caretaker. His practices became more sustainable, aligning with his newfound respect for the delicate balance that nature demands. This transformation was mirrored in his neighbors, who embraced the lessons Nathan's story offered. Together, they cultivated a renewed sense of unity and harmony with the land they called home. Nathan and his neighbors took pride in their shared commitment to tending the land, nurturing a deep bond with nature founded on respect, harmony, and a profound sense of stewardship. Their connection to the environment wasn't just about necessity, it was a way of life, woven into the rhythm of their days and the culture of their small community. Nathan often spoke about the importance of this bond. "We're not just living off the land," he would say, his voice steady and warm. We're living with it. Every tree, every blade of grass, it's all part of the same story. His neighbors would nod in agreement, their hands weathered from years of toil, yet steady with purpose. From sun-dappled mornings spent gathering wild berries to evenings around crackling bonfires, sharing stories of the harvest, their lives revolved around a mutual respect for the land that sustained them. The fields and woods they cared for weren't merely resources. They were companions, living and breathing in tandem with the people who worked them. This relationship fostered not just a livelihood, but a community. Neighbors lent hands to one another during planting and reaping seasons, their laughter echoing across the open fields. Children ran barefoot through the meadows, their shouts mingling with the songs of birds overhead. "This land is ours to love," Nathan would remind them, "and to leave better for those who come after." Their understanding of nature extended beyond farming or sustenance. It was a shared reverence, a quiet belief that they were not separate from the earth, but part of its delicate balance. Wow, wasn't that story just incredible? I mean, while it's entirely fictional, it really gives you so much to think about, doesn't it? Nathan's journey, from concern for his horse River to uncovering the mystery of the pond, might not have happened in real life, but the lessons woven through the tale feel so real and deeply human. At its core, this story reminds us of the delicate balance between humans, animals, and the environment we share. It's about curiosity, patience, and the willingness to see beyond the surface to uncover the truth. Nathan's love for his farm and his determination to protect River highlights how meaningful it is to pay attention to the world around us. And when the discovery of the tiny fish finally brought answers, it wasn't just about solving a problem. It became a moment of connection, a realization that nature, even in its strangest forms, has a wisdom we can learn from. But what struck me the most was the sense of community. The way Nathan's neighbors came together, shared their experiences, and worked to better understand this phenomenon felt so inspiring. It's a powerful reminder that when people collaborate and share knowledge, they can solve even the most baffling mysteries. This story isn't just about Nathan or River. It's about all of us. It encourages us to embrace the unexpected, care for our world, and stay open to what nature has to teach. So, what do you think? Would you have stepped into that pond like Nathan did? What would you have done differently? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if this story moved you or got you thinking, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might enjoy it too. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.